Hi, I've often been asked, Abby, how can you possibly imply that I accept them to undermine me? I mean, how can you literally say to me, please just validate them, even though they're undermining me? And what I am saying is the following, and it's important to understand the difference between accepting a behavior and validating an emotion, a feeling. So it is not about, in any shape or form, accepting inappropriate behavior. It is simply not confusing validating a feeling with inappropriate behavior. We'll discuss it a little bit further. Hi, I'm Coach Abby. Thank you so much for joining me today at Love Advice TV. Love Advice TV is a channel that has been created especially for you to help you navigate each and every type of different relationship issues you may have. Let's dive right into this whole situation about validating a feeling. I think that the most important thing in order to validate someone's feeling is to understand how we invalidate them. And for the purpose of this video, I think a subject matter that comes up quite a number of times is when we accidentally stumble on an inappropriate text on our ex's phones and or our partners, maybe exes to be, and it just blows out of proportion. I think it's important to be able, first and foremost, to realize that we're not really supposed to be stumbling upon our ex's phones or inappropriate texts. We normally are subliminally looking at it with certain intentions to see, we question it. But for the purpose of this video, let's assume their excuse to us is sketchy, to say the least. And what I mean by sketchy, it's a cousin, or it's my mother's best friend. Her name is Harriet. Whatever. But we know instinctively there's something different going on. It doesn't feel right. The most important thing that we need to do at that moment, when we ask, remember, we've got Exhibit A in our hands, and we ask that particular person, what is this all about? And as they begin to explain, it happens more often than we'd like to admit, we already are building up their response. I mean, we're not even listening to what they're telling us. We are so angry, we're fuming. Our ego is, beside itself. The most important thing, once again, is to fully listen to the explanation. Refrain from gestures, not the rolling of the eyes, the whole thing, the latching out, the screaming, whatever. Just listen. How do we demonstrate that we're listening? Because listening is just not necessarily an action. We need to respond to our proving that we are listening to what they are saying, not what we're imagining that they're saying to us. What we do is we reflect and we say back to them exactly what they say, meaning, you've got it all wrong. This text is from so and so, and it's there's nothing going on there. The way we respond is, so what you're telling me is that the text that we are referring to is innocuous. It's from a friend. It's from your aunt. It's from your cousin. It's from your brother. It's nothing that I should worry about. It doesn't really matter as to what the content is. Is that what you're saying to me? Why do we do this? Because it allows us to literally let them know we're listening to their explanation. We're not all of a sudden saying, I know, and I that you've been with that person, and it's probably that person that is a friend of yours on Facebook, or a friend of blah, 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 blah. And we go on and on and on and take it out of proportion. We lose complete control of the conversation when we are literally just thinking that all of these other hypotheticals are happening instead of listening. Whether we believe them or not is irrelevant. What we need to do is to validate the conversation in and of itself, okay? And It's hard. It's hard when we're upset. We're fuming. We're like, this doesn't feel right. But once again, it's not about accepting their inappropriate behavior. The purpose of this video is basically is to validate a conversation, to hear their side of the story. When we take this approach, what we're really demonstrating and is a position of strength. We're in control of our emotions. We are allowing even ourselves to look at things from different perspective, not just for us. It's not guilty until proven innocent. I think that we need to just pull back and try to avoid the accusatory tones and just simply listen. Instead of jumping to conclusion, instead of saying, well, thank you very much, I don't believe you, whatever. Even though, that we all have that instinct. We know when something doesn't feel right. It's sort of like, we feel that there's something that's not really leveled here. What I really believe we should do at this moment, and once again, it's not to be accepting of their inappropriate behavior, but it's to allow ourselves breathing space to think about what it is exactly that we want to respond to in the future with this. So what we literally do is we just say, well, let me think about it. I'm not in a good place right now, and I'm not thinking correctly. Let me just think about this whole entire conversation in and of itself. I strongly suggest that once you sort of end the conversation, that you keep it among yourselves. Don't run and tell your best friend, or don't run and tell anybody else or your family member or what have you. At the end of the day, the only person that can fix this situation is you and your partner. The less we bring other people to come in, the actual truth will come out, and the person that needs to correct the behavior will feel in complete control of doing so, and not based on being pressured or ridiculed or feeling guilty. It's just a way of diffusing it. It would be my pleasure to have a coaching session with you. Let me allow you to see the different ways to approach these situations, which are much more common than we think. Unfortunately or fortunately, we live in a very social media world, and sometimes friendly reminders pop up, and they're not all bad. But our instincts are always, they're guilty. There's someone new. There's something's happening, and though it might be, there is also a reason to think that it might not be, and we don't want to approach it in an argumentative way, because at the end of the day, then we're once again on opposing teams. It would be my pleasure to walk you through it, to show you how we can direct the attention to the actual cause and not to our emotions. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave any comments regarding this or any other video that you might see on Love Advice TV. Coach Alex, Coach Adrian, Coach Natalie, Coach Danny, Coach Priyanka, myself, we are here available to help you navigate through any type of relationship issues or any questions you may have. Until next time, I'm Coach Abby.